If you grew up with a certain category of parents or guardians, then there's a high likelihood that you've been compared to some kids in the neighborhood or something along that line. The person who was first in your class, do they have two heads? Why can't you be like, hey, why do you always have to be the bad one? And as we got older or in recent times, some people may have heard things like, all your friends are getting married. What's going on? And I can bet that all the times the adults in your life compared you to others, it didn't feel great, did it? So why do we inflict the same pain we felt when we're compared to others on ourselves? Don't be shocked. That's exactly what you're doing when you're comparing yourself to people on the internet or your friends and colleagues. You got me shaking, yeah, I feel the fever come. In this video, we are going to be talking about the ugly comparison trap, why we do it, and how you can overcome it. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Antwiwaa, just in case you're new here. And on this channel, we talk personal finance, personal development, and I share bits and pieces of how I'm navigating life as a young woman living alone here in Accra, Ghana. So you're welcome. According to research, the comparison game starts quite early as 5 years old. So around age 5, kids or young people are usually comparing themselves to their friends, their neighbors, or other people around their age with regards to their physical appearance. But as we get older, the levels of comparison also increase. So as we are older, we are comparing ourselves on a level of wealth, intelligence, attractiveness, and whatever you define as success. But why do we do this? Why do we evaluate ourselves and our abilities on these 4 levels? Well, for the most part, we use that to measure how we stack up against others. Comparing ourselves to our friends, colleagues, and other people in our life isn't actually bad. In fact, research has shown that it is actually a human tendency. Since the beginning of time, we've used comparison to improve on ourselves, on the way we do things, and on various aspects of our lives. Basically, by comparing ourselves to others, we are motivated to pursue higher heights, higher education, and pretty much the higher things of life. So yes, healthy competition or healthy comparison is a good thing. Of course, there's the negative end of the spectrum where comparison can take us downhill, make us feel inadequate, insecure, make us feel a ton of jealousy or even guilt. And that in turn causes us to lie to keep up appearances or even indulge in unhealthy behaviors that could be detrimental to us just to keep up appearances. Like I mentioned, comparing yourself to others isn't inherently bad. But if you find that engaging in the act of comparison is causing you to feel negative things, it's putting you in a negative space, or is even affecting your mental health, then you definitely have to do something about it. But what do we do to overcome the comparison trap? Number 1, watch who you are comparing yourself to. There are 2 ways we generally compare ourselves to others. The very first one is an upward comparison, and the second one is, of course, a downward comparison. And as you may have guessed, the upward comparison is comparing yourself to somebody who is slightly above your level or way above your level, depending on what level or skill you're using to compare. And then the downward comparison is where you're comparing yourself to people that are slightly below you or like way below your level, again in the same areas. But you can agree that comparing yourself to somebody that is way above your level or somebody that is way below your level can do things to you. For example, comparing yourself to somebody who earns, say, $1 million a year when you earn just $5,000 a year can definitely make you feel like crap, like you're inadequate, like you're not doing enough, and like you have to pull your weight. And then comparing yourself to somebody who earns $500 a year and you're earning about $5,000 a year can make you feel like you're doing something for yourself, and sometimes can actually put you in a very comfortable place where you're not pursuing more for yourself. So yes, you like to find out who you're comparing yourself to and if in the first place the comparison makes sense. After you've found that out, you can identify what triggered that comparison or jealousy you feel or lack thereof, and how you can avoid that moving forward. Because to be honest, why are you earning 3 figures or 4 figures and comparing yourself to somebody that is earning 6 figures and causing that to make you feel the way you feel? Make it make sense. Number 2, Don't compare your beginning to somebody's middle. Don't be starting out life and trying to get your life together and be comparing yourself to somebody who is well established, who has had their family or even people in their life implement systems that are helping them succeed. That is not a good or even fair skill, so you should definitely not be doing that to yourself. Number 3, learn to be happy for others. And I know that is easier said than done, because we can all agree that jealousy is a very nasty emotion. It steals your joy and it leaves you feeling very bitter. But every single time you catch yourself getting jealous over somebody's accomplishments or how much they have in the bank or how smoking hot your partner looks, try to turn that emotion into something positive. So learn to say things like, I'm happy for you, and actually mean it. Learn to say things like, I love that for you, and I'm happy that you're finally getting the life you deserve. And yes, it may be hard in the beginning, especially if your mouth is saying one thing and your heart is feeling something else. But as you continue to put positivity out there, you can eventually switch that feeling and make it somewhat of a positive feeling. You can also change your language. So instead of saying things like, why does she deserve to get this much amount of money or this particular car or that particular man and I don't get it, say things like, I would prefer to have, if it's whatever money she has, maybe I would prefer to have, say, $100,000 in the bank. I would prefer to have a tall, dark, handsome Ghanaian man, so that even though you're feeling jealous of what she has, you've kind of tricked your brain into experiencing a positive feeling, which will definitely work for you. So try it out. Number 4, filter your social media. About a century or so ago, the only comparison people did was with people in their vicinity, people in the neighborhood, people in their town or their village. You get the gist. But in recent times, we have access to thousands and thousands of people from different parts of the world, from Australia, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Uganda. You can compare yourself to anybody and everybody because of the feeling of proximity or familiarity social media gives us. And in my opinion, that is very dangerous. Why, you may ask? Because we are all from different backgrounds, different societies, different families. We are all living different lives, but some way, somehow, we all converge on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and talk about the things we've accomplished, the things we haven't accomplished, or even LinkedIn. So you see all these people, some of them your age mates, some of them way younger than you. They're doing great things, amazing things, selling their companies for millions of dollars, buying their houses, buying a dream car at 17, at 16, at 19, at 21, getting proposed to at 23 or 25 to this drop-dead gorgeous man, and you're looking at yourself sitting in your parents' house at age 30 and you can't even get a text back. And to be honest, our brain really be playing games on us, because how does our brain think that it's even okay to compare our situation to the situation of somebody like that? But all I can say is, if there's anything that would help you, it would be filtering your social media, or even going off social media for a short period of time, or if you can, an extended period of time. Somewhere in September, we are currently in November, I decided I was going to go off social media. Not even because of the fact that I was comparing myself to people. No, that was not primarily the reason I left social media. But once I left social media, I realized that I didn't have any new information coming in on how somebody just moved from Nigeria to the UK or something, or how someone is starting out their masters and all of that. And to be honest, it gives you some peace of mind, and you can concentrate on other things that are actually important to you, as opposed to spending hours scrolling and comparing yourself to somebody who has a different dynamic to what you currently have. If you cannot take a social media break, go through your following, remove people that trigger that jealousy or that desire to compare yourself to them off your page, mute words that trigger you, and set yourself free. I promise that it is such a small exercise that goes a very long way. Number 5, and probably the most important point in all 5, is to concentrate on yourself. Focus on yourself and yourself alone. Face your front. The only person you want to work towards getting better at is the person you were yesterday. Not some 21-year-olds in London who just bought a mansion for themselves. No. Identify your goals, identify what is important to you and what your ideal life is. And every single day, work towards becoming that person that you have up here. Not the person that somebody on the internet says you should become. Not someone else's definition of success. What is your definition of success? Is having a family of 3 and a beautiful house enough for you? Then why are you comparing yourself to somebody who has a yacht? If you're ready to start working on yourself and you have any of these 2 issues, click on this video right here to learn how to overcome your body insecurity. And click on this video right here to learn how to overcome shyness and become a more confident version of yourself. Thank you very much for watching and thank you for giving me your time today. Ciao.